Hey, everybody, this is Dianne. Finally, welcome to Biters. And you may not get the last episode from the last season, so here we are.
This episode brought to you by Capes and Lunatics, Phil. Yay, Phil!
Yay! Thank you, Phil, who's getting us up and running with our tech.
Thank you to everyone who's listening. My buddy Jack at work, Thomas Amara, all of you. I had to threaten them with violence to get them back on here. So,
he bribed me. I think he threatened Dianne with violence, but I don't think he can take her at this point.
Oh, please! I was gonna say, look how much she's lifted now. I ain't threatening her.
She's swole.
I'm getting swole.
Chuck Norris quivers at the thought of that.
You know, I gotta tell you, and I mean, I was gonna talk about this in Housewives Housekeeping, but so Rob and I went to Kona recently, and we found a powerlifting gym. I told you guys that, and I actually set my personal best record for my deadlift over there, which I'm working on getting my deadlift better, but it was 225, and there was a kid with a couple of girls hanging out, and they were watching me do it, and they were like, woo! And then Rob was like, she's 51 and she's only been doing this for a few months. And they erupted into applause. And I was like, this is really cool. I've got my own little cheering section.
Dianne is prepping to go over to Russia and assassinate Putin. So
Oh, man, now I'm in trouble. So I'm going to start like with these horrible peeling scales. And it's going to be like, oh, I did get something chemical in my food that I shouldn't have had.
Well, you know, if we've learned anything from the Walking Dead universe is you can totally survive radiation, no problem.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
15, 20 minutes at a time. Yes.
Yeah.
And these were all jokes, KGB. This was all jokes. So. Right.
Or who are they now? They're not the KGB anymore. I don't know what their initials are now, but yeah. Glory to the Ukraine. That's what I say.
All hail Xenu.
You know what? If Xenu wants to come back at this point and help Zelensky, I'm good with it. So
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we are talking about the episode No Other Way, which aired on the 13th of last month because we are that far behind. It was the first episode of the second third of the season. So it was episode 9 of season 11.
God, I'm an accountant, and that was a whole lot of numbers.
I know, it was a lot of numbers. So do you guys have ratings for this episode?
I do. Phil's just winging it back there, so he might.
Do you want to go first as our guest, Phil, or do you want to go first, Marn?
Go ahead, Phil.
Oh, why me?
Would you like to hear mine first so you can, like, gauge where you should be?
No, I can wing it. No, I mean, all right, do you want me to give you the reasons first or just throw out the number?
Then reasons.
Okay, I say do it however you want, but we definitely want the reasons.
I'd probably give it like a 7.5. Just because the ending was shocking. I mean, I don't even know how to feel about that ending, but it was kind of shocking. I can understand it, but at another point, I'm like, how could you do that, Maggie? But then the whole thing with Daryl, I'm just like, he's been such a cool customer this whole series. Now all of a sudden, it seems like he's willing to like sell out his friends and everyone for some woman, and
he's like getting sucked into a group. Like, Daryl is not part of a group mind. He's not part of a hive mind. Daryl's like the loner who's out in the corner who's looking at everybody else going, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So for him to show up in a uniform for the Commonwealth, it's like, what?
But
it's like the second group. I know.
So the thing that I noticed about that, though, and I noticed immediately, and I looked for it again on the rewatch, is if you look at the group that he is with, his is the only uniform that is blood splattered. So there's got to be some sort of significance there that, like, yeah, I don't know. I guess we will see.
All right, Marn, what about you?
Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 5, I rated it a 3.4 exploding zombies. So Phil and I were kind of close. He was higher than I was. But it actually increased on rewatch, not because I liked the episode anymore, and I didn't dislike the episode, but I didn't like the episode anymore, but I realized how important this episode was, how many things happened in this episode that, you know, are going to have a huge rippling effect on the rest of the season, the rest of the show. You had Negan piecing out. You had, the Reapers, the quick demise of the Reapers. We have the Commonwealth coming in. We had, Aiden dying? Was it Aiden? Alden, yes. Alden dying. You know, there was just a whole lot that happened.
Noisy with my cough drops. I apologize. There was a whole lot that happened.
There was just a whole lot that happened in this episode that's super, super important. So, like I said, I didn't dislike it. I didn't like it very much, but it obviously was a very important episode.
But yeah, there's just a lot of weird stuff going on, and I wonder, are we building a lot of extra drama because we have 24 episodes this season instead of the usual 16?
Yeah. And they have a lot to set up for still.
Yeah.
Well, Marn, I had to laugh because I was 3.8 exploding walkers out of 5.
Oh, wow. You guys rated it higher than I did.
But we rated it the same in terms of rating systems, which is really funny.
Oh, that's funny.
At least exploding walkers are better than sticking them in a stupid catapult and flinging them at the building.
So
that, you know, they used to wage chemical warfare back in medieval times by doing that. They would take people who died of the plague and throw them over castle walls in order to infect everyone in that was in.
Oh my God, would you please not give Putin any more ideas?
You know, we've already had the plague. And, you know, if we've learned anything, that, you know, you can at least wipe out half of us with it because we won't believe it's real.
Right. Which, by the way, I want to say to everybody, I don't have the plague. I have a cold. The person I caught this cold from, you'll never guess who it was, has had 2 negative COVID tests in like the last 4 days. So I do not have COVID, but I sound ridiculous. So I rated it a 3.8 because I didn't love it and I didn't hate it. I just, you know, it was another one of those, what are we doing here? Why do we have so many storylines? Can we please just tell a story and not use every episode to set up for the big ending?
Again, we got 8 extra episodes this season, so.
Right.
That's like a whole other half of the season.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. So it wasn't terrible. I wasn't in love with it. I am disappointed that they did away with the Reapers so quickly. They seem to be doing that with some of these smaller groups of bad guys. And I think they did it this time because they're building up to the Commonwealth as being the big bad. So.
Well, I forget what's her face's name is, but I mean, she gets away. So, I mean, she could always come back with new Reapers.
What was her? So her real name is Lynn. Her name in the show is Leah, right?
Yeah.
I do have a few numbers since we're podcasting so late. So the same day views were 1.6 million. And it was rated 9.3 on IMDb when I prepared my original notes. So it was rated pretty high initially. I did not go back and check to see what the rating was today.
It is still at a 9.0, which is still so far the highest of season 11B, which is really surprising because I think we're 4 episodes in now.
We're 3 in at this point. We'll be 4 here tomorrow. So.
I just wonder if maybe they're going to get extra ratings because it's quote unquote the last season, even though it's never the last season.
So, and I'm super annoyed this season that AMC Plus is doing the same thing that they kind of did when they introduced AMC Plus is, AMC Plus subscribers are getting it like a week early. And they used to do that for a while on like the first and last episode of the season, but now they're doing it with all the episodes. So I always feel like we're already a week off because I can watch it, I can watch the next episode before we've even podcasted, the current episode. So it's just, it bugs me when they do that because people have been really good about spoilers, but you can find them out there. And I really wish we could all just watch it together.
I mean, I don't have AMC Plus, so I watch it, when it just comes on AMC. So I don't feel like it's, well, you guys are behind, but I don't think, but not this, yeah, I mean, I don't go looking for spoilers. I usually don't see spoilers. I don't know if people are just good about not dropping them, but
I have definitely trimmed my social media so I don't have things in my Twitter feed or my Facebook feed to destroy things. And, we all know this. This is the infamous moment when we opened up Facebook and saw Daryl carrying Beth out of the hospital before all of us on the West Coast knew that Beth was dead.
Yeah. Not to mention people in Europe, Yeah. So I just wish we could all watch it together.
I do get a little like, what are we supposed to be watching? I told Marnell, I'm like, there's 2 episodes out. Did they release 2 episodes on the same day? What's going on? Because there was definitely some confusion about this one and New Haunts, which is the one that was released right after it, because we had both. And then she talked about the AMC Plus thing. So
yeah.
Let's see. Do you guys? I feel like I missed the reference for the title, No Other Way. There was a thing that Maggie said to Daryl, and right at the end when he showed up in the Commonwealth uniform, she said it doesn't have to be this way. And I'm wondering if that's the reference, but I didn't catch someone saying back, "There's no other way."
So one of the ways that I took it, and again, it could be interpreted in multiple ways, is that we kind of hearkened back to when Negan and Maggie were talking in a previous episode, and she said something like, "Do you regret what you did?" or something. Is basically like, "Yeah, I should have killed you all."
Mm-hmm.
And so, Maggie was totally appalled at that, but, she kind of, at the end of this episode, she realized that there's no other way. Like, you have to take out people who mean to do you harm in this world. That's just the way it is. So there was no other way for Maggie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I took it.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, good. I was just looking for something really specific and I didn't find anything, so...
Yeah, I didn't hear it. I thought maybe I missed it, but I didn't hear anyone say it, literally.
So our writer was a guy named Corey Reed, and he has written a bunch of Walking Dead, 19 episodes total. His first episode was 4 Walls and a Roof back in 2014. And he's also worked on Da Vinci's Demons and The Medium. And I know that Tom O'Mara knew somebody who had worked on The Medium, but I don't think it was this guy. And then our director is a guy named John. Oh boy, my handwriting's gotten terrible. John Amble. I'm not sure if I've got that right. I should probably look it up.
John Amiel, Jonamiel. John.
Thank you. It's pretty sad when you can't read your own handwriting. And he worked on Summersby, which was a Richard Gere movie. Copycat, which I want to say was I don't remember.
I loved Copycat.
Okay, so you know it.
Yes, Copycat had Sigourney Weaver and Dermot Mulroney and Harry Connick Jr. Oh, okay. And Holly Hunter.
Oh,
I love that movie.
Holly Hunter. He worked on a movie called The Man Who Knew Too Little, which I think was a spy spoof. And then he worked on Entrapment, which I believe was Sean Connery and Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yep.
What I found really interesting, though, that, he worked on several of these really big popular movies that were kind of overblown. He actually has a really classical education. He was educated at Cambridge. He did a lot of Shakespearean work. He worked for the Royal Shakespearean Company. He worked for the BBC. I mean, he's just done a lot of really classical things. So it's always funny to see someone who's got that background then be thrust into the world of Summersby or Copycat, So that's my thing about him. And this, I believe, is his first foray into the Walking Dead world.
It looks like it, but it looks like he is also kind of come up on New Haunts, too.
I was going to say, I want to say he's the director for the next episode as well.
Yeah.
So, Marn, when you and I talked and tried the first of the 3 times to podcast this episode, we didn't really find a featured cast. I was wondering if there was anybody in particular that stuck out for you, Phil.
Stuck out in a good way, or?
It could be a good way or a bad way. The featured cast is, so we usually pick someone who's really noticeable or somebody who dies.
I mean, I think if not Maggie, probably the person that this episode was a lot about is Daryl. Just that I guess we're painting him with conflicting feelings of, these people who are his family. He's been with them for how long, especially after time jumps and everything. And then this woman who, how much time did he actually spend with her? I don't know why he's so hung up on her.
I actually want to say it was like a fair amount of time, like 18 months or something like that.
Maybe.
It wasn't nothing, but
if this was any other season and this was anyone else, Daryl would be shaking them and, slapping them in the face and be like, get over it.
Yeah, he's very much like, he'll do what he needs to survive, and he'll just drop like an entire group or, one of his friends. It'll just be like, no, man, you're going the wrong way.
Okay, bold prediction. Do you think that maybe he is with the Commonwealth because Leah escaped to the Commonwealth and is now working for them as a soldier?
I don't know.
I don't know if those two could ever work together again, because I know that he let her go, but there's got to be, like, she tried to kill him.
Is she even going to go in there? Because
love and
she's wounded.
Is a powerful thing, let me tell you.
I was going to say she might trust him, but his friends, Maggie, are she's not going to come near Maggie. She's not going to trust Maggie.
She's wounded. She and I'm sure she's had some sort of first aid training that she might be able to do on herself, but unless we're going to go the route of, nobody dies of their bullet wounds or sepsis, even in the post-apocalyptic world.
Well,
she's going to have
to get stabbed in the femoral artery with a giant knife.
Right. And was able to walk away after losing a ton of blood.
And sleeping it off.
She's going to need some sort of help, and like all of her friends are dead. So maybe she does have to team up.
Place.
Yeah. Yep.
Trying to think if there's any other undesirables out there she could
So of course we lost Alden this episode, Callum McAuliffe, and I'm so I hate to see him go because I really liked him as a character and the actor, but I know there's a lot of people out there who are like, yes, let's trim the edges, like let's get rid of a few people even. So Callan is coming out in 2 movies very soon. One is in completed, and the other one you can't even find on his IMDb profile online. It's on the app, though. I don't know why that happens, but here we are. He's coming out in a movie called Him and Her, and cross phone lines in 1989 lead to a life-changing conversation between 2 strangers who eventually meet in an unusual way. So that sounds kind of interesting. But he is also coming out in a movie called Glen, and I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this before. It is apparently a true story. Glen Rowan is a town located in Victoria, Australia, and it is the famous site of the bushranger Ned Kelly. In 1880, was captured in a siege after a shootout that killed a number of police. And, he had taken like an entire hotel hostage. So he will play the main guy, Ned Kelly. So, Callan's got a couple of things coming up. So it is not the last time we will see him.
I would actually watch him in a movie.
Me too.
I really enjoy him.
Me too. And I kind of like movies about the 80s, I would have been 9 in 1989. So yeah, like it's just always fun to see that.
You and Lilith. Although Phil's
I was 11 in 1989.
Yeah. I don't even know if Lilith remembers 1989.
She was like 3. Yeah.
I was 18 in 1989.
So that would be right up your alley. Like,
well, so Rob and I were actually talking the other night about, having the old phone line that you had to like pull the phone into the bedroom and the cord was like sticking out through the door. And because,
one of my favorite TikTok things is to have parents who are our ages now show their kids rotary phones and see if their kids can dial a phone number on a rotary phone. Oh,
Had one of those. That was
yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, you missed the number. Oh.
Gotta start over.
Mm-hmm.
When we moved to Alaska, I was 2, but growing up in Alaska in Juneau, I actually still remember when we had party lines where you would have to wait for like a neighbor to hang up to use the phone line that your collective neighborhood utilized. That's how old we are.
Yes. Tell me you're old without telling me you're old.
Right? Party lines.
All right. So I've got a few things in Whisperer's Corner.
Just a few?
Just a few. I actually, I had a few when I first put these notes together. I added some stuff about the spinoffs. I tried to stay away from stuff about the episodes that we haven't watched yet. Right. So first, oh my goodness, the Tales of the Walking Dead, the anthology series, has a lot of big names. So they had cast Usher, Olivia Munn, a guy named Daryl Ramirez, who was in Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Beth Davids, who I was like, I remember that actress and I remember loving that actress. What did she do? She had a big role in Schindler's List. And then an actor named Gage Monroe that I'm not familiar with, but they listed him, so I'm sure that he must be someone who's a fairly big name. Marnell, you'll be happy to know that one of the articles I read about the spinoff suggested that perhaps they might feature Heath in Tales of the Walking Dead.
They better. I mean, we got a resolution on Alden in like 2 episodes. Like, hashtag where's Heath?
How many seasons has it been now? It's been like 3-4 seasons, hasn't it?
Yeah,
at least, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
go ahead.
Tara was new, and Tara has since come and gone.
Yes.
I know I was just waiting for that resolution. Just him standing on the side of the road going, Tara, hello.
Oh. Tara, why'd you leave me?
Maybe he's in the Commonwealth.
Oh.
He could be.
He's been living large in the Commonwealth this entire time.
Yes. That would be kind of cool. I'm good. I'm good with that for Heath.
Me too.
And then, of course, I have Paul Tassi and Eric Kane. And I would just like to point out that Eric Kane and I every now and then exchange likes on Twitter, and that makes me happy, which is really he's not my favorite person when he was like snarky about nurses. But he wrote something about another series and how completely awful it was. And I said, I have a feeling that the showrunners from Fear the Walking Dead got their fingers in this one.
See, this is what I miss most about this show, the weekly Eric Kane trash talk.
And it's mostly Eric because Paul isn't really writing a whole lot of like episode recaps. He'll write stuff about like this, the news, like the spinoffs and stuff. But Eric's keeping up on it, and he has so far he really liked episode 9. So
yeah, he said this was the best episode in years, and I was like,
he praised Angela King. Yeah.
Paul Tassi, all he basically talked about was Andrew Lincoln was in town in Sonoy, and he was like, is he back for a cameo for the end of the series? So, who knows? Let's see. Oh, homes in Alexandria will be going on the market very soon because filming of the main series is wrapping up. So people will have an opportunity to buy a house in Alexandria.
Zilla's going to buy them all up and rent them out.
Yeah, right?
Oh, there you go. Airbnb.
I was just going to say tons of Airbnbs.
Yep.
They would get rented.
Yeah. Thomas O'Mara should buy one, and he should take all of his Walking Dead memorabilia and
put it in there. Yeah.
Do a museum Airbnb. That would be killer.
And let's see, then there was just an article that I read today about the spinoffs. So we know that we've got the Daryl and Carol spinoff. They have plot armor. There is still the belief on the part of the person who wrote it, and I think it's true that they're going to go off on some like buddy
side
motorcycle jaunt. Yeah. We talked about Tales of the Walking Dead. We talked about Isle of the Dead, which is the Maggie Negan series. It's going to be a 6-episode series that's coming out next year.
But now they have plot armor.
They do. It is set in post-apocalyptic Manhattan.
I'm so annoyed. Like, don't get me wrong, I will watch the hell out of some Maggie Negan spinoff, but they really need to keep this stuff under wraps until basically they can't anymore, until they start filming. Because
so we have a faint chance of believing that actually someone might die, and there's some suspense.
Yeah. Because now anytime that Maggie or Negan are put in peril, we're going to be like, nah, nothing's happening.
Do you think maybe they're trying to like build up so it's like, oh no, don't like stop watching until the very last episode. You want to watch the whole last season because don't you want to see how these characters get here to their own series? And
no, I think there's some truth in that.
Maybe a little bit, but I'm also at this point like, if you have been watching up until now, can you really stop? I mean, we've like got 17 episodes left. Are you really gonna stop?
You know, the whole can you really stop? I still feel guilty about not watching World Beyond and quitting on Fear, but I did.
I feel a little bit guilty about Fear, but I had no emotional attachment to the World Beyond.
I watched the whole World Beyond. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Oh, really?
I mean, it was only 2 seasons, and I really didn't feel too invested in any of those characters. It's just
yeah, and that's what it is I didn't feel invested in the characters. And that's probably why I feel a little bit guilty about Fear the Walking Dead, is I feel invested in those characters.
Yeah. I mean, I care about Morgan, even though I feel like they ruined him. I care about June, even though
I am still team Alicia. Like, it should be like Daryl, Alicia, Rick, and Michonne, and Judith, and that like do that show, and like that's the end of the world. They're the last 5 people left on Earth.
That is a spin-off.
Okay, you want to hear a crazy theory? Okay,
yes.
So the Maggie and Negan show, we know it's taking place in New York, right?
Yeah.
So our Daryl and Carol, are they just going to be like traveling the country? And if so, will their show get a crossover with Fear the Walking Dead?
I think there's a fair chance that they could, because they had talked about heading to New Mexico, and you know that's not far from Texas.
I mean, Texas is closer, pretty much. Yeah, and then they know some of those people there, so Morgan.
So Manhattan, like, I kind of feel like that would be the perfect base for CRM. Like, maybe Maggie and Negan are going up and they'll run into Rick or Michonne, or
Phil, since you watched World Beyond to the end, did they kind of put paid to the CRM thing, or?
I mean, they left it very open-ended, and like there was basically an end credit scene at the end of the last episode where it's just like, what was it? Like one of the, like there was like a walker. It's like, oh, it seemed quicker and stuff. They're like, oh, you don't know the whole story and all this stuff, and.
So, Di, I don't know if you watched Talking Dead. I did.
I didn't.
I like this Talking Dead for some. They did it home version again, where they were doing it over Zoom. Which I don't know if maybe that was the reason why I wasn't too big into it, but it just they seem to have some maybe some technical delays or something, and like there was a joke that what's her name, Maggie did, and like she had to repeat it like a couple of times, so it kind of lost its funny. But they did mention that there was an introduction to fast zombies in the World Beyond. So I think Chris Hardwick was asking, are we going to see any more of those? And so they alluded to the fact that there are multiple types of zombies. The shambling ones that just they never stop moving. They just never stop walking around, and ones that kind of go into kind of a hibernation until they're disturbed. And then you have these kind of faster ones, and maybe we haven't seen every type of zombie that there is. So,
oh my God, in 11 seasons, we haven't seen every type of zombie that there is.
Well, as we know, viruses, if this is indeed a virus, they do change. So,
that's fair.
I would kind of like to see, maybe an intelligent zombie, one that can turn a doorknob or find your hiding spot, or I think that would be cool.
I mean, this is season 11, and we've done how many time jumps already? So we're probably, in their time, at least 15 years into the apocalypse. So,
and we've got another time jump.
Yeah.
At this. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think by the end of Carol and Daryl, Maggie and Negan, Anthology, Fear, and whatever else, they're going to be like, now Judith's 22 years old, like, and lived in the apocalypse her entire life. Let's follow her story.
Oh, wasn't that this episode too? I'm sorry, I'm ahead, but wasn't this the episode where Judith was in the basement also?
Oh, yeah, with Gracie.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And somehow, they rigged up the whole rope.
The rope! What the hell was that?
How did they do that?
Yeah.
It seemed like it wasn't there before, but with a flooding basement full of walkers, they were able to
string something. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that he could climb on.
Well, she is Rick's daughter. Well, she's Shane's daughter, actually. But
it was it was what's her name?
Oh yeah. What's her face's daughter?
Lori. No.
No.
Why am I drawing a blank?
So am I. No, the Whisperer. Whisperer's daughter. Lydia.
Oh, yeah, Lydia.
Yeah.
Lydia
was just hauled Aaron out of there like it was nothing.
Yeah.
Not even sure how she did it, but she must be powerlifting.
I mean, the walkers, the rain's flooding into the basement. Oh yeah.
He disconnected the black water pipe. Blech.
Ugh.
What's funny is I had just watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the new one, and somewhat of a similar thing happens, but it's way grosser in Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Of course it is.
Yeah. Ugh.
Better budget.
All right.
Be bitten.
Housewives housekeeping. So where have the housewives been? I'm going to start because my life is crazy. So I've been working a lot. I've been powerlifting, which Phil and Marnell alluded to at the very beginning of the series, and I'm going to be beginning of the show, and I'm going to be doing my first powerlifting competition in like 6 weeks, which is pretty exciting. Yeah, and I learned that there's a reason you don't deadlift in shorts, because you end up with massive bruises on your legs when you're dragging the deadlift bar up your legs. That's really fun. And I've been traveling, so Rob and I went to Hawaii. We're going to go see his dad and stepmom in a couple of weeks, and we may go to DC. There might be some plans there. So lots of traveling. It's been lots of fun. And life is just nuts.
I have no other excuse.
Yeah, you work like crazy.
I do. Mine's just work.
And tech, but not on your end, more so on my end. Thank you, Phil. God.
I felt like there was a World Wide Web where you could record from anywhere in the world.
Okay, so Di and I have been recording over Skype, and Skype is slowly being phased out, and we just were not prepared for that. And even though I live with somebody who's an IT person, I still am like, I don't want to learn a new IT thing. So that is why the wonderful Phil is joining us. We are currently podcasting using StreamYard, I guess the podcasting platform of champions. So he's been helping us, and literally, Biters fans, that is the only reason why this episode is being recorded right now. Hopefully it's being recorded. Is it being recorded, Phil? Oh my God, is it being recorded?
Like I said, if no other StreamYard will automatically record this stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's not even just StreamYard. I know people who use Zoom and stuff, but yeah, you gotta get off Skype.
Because could you imagine if we are 35 minutes in and we are not recording? Diane would have an aneurysm.
I actually promised I would not lose it. I promised I would not lose it.
Oh.
So Phil, I know that you've been recording like crazy because you guys always do. I wanted to specifically ask you about Batman. And I just wanted to see how you're doing and if you want to update folks on Biters about you and your life and Capes and Lunatics and
yeah, well, I haven't really been doing much, but well, except recording. Yes, I saw The Batman. You know, gotta get fancy. The Batman. It is good. Yes, it is almost 3 hours long. It didn't feel like it to me. I know everyone keeps asking, oh, what do you think of The Batman? I liked it. It's one of the better ones I think we've gotten like the last couple of years. Like I'll put it up there with The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger, or like I like those Michael Keaton ones. I'll put it up there with that.
Do you think like do you feel like Rob Pattinson did the character justice?
He's pretty good. I mean, I liked his Batman better than his Bruce. Not that he had a ton of Bruce Wayne time, but I mean, I like his Batman more than his Bruce Wayne, and they actually give Batman detective work to do.
Oh.
So that's what I heard. I heard that it was surprisingly good. Robert Pattinson did really well. Zoe Kravitz is an amazing Catwoman, and that it's more like detective drama than it is like Batman. So I tried to convince some of my friends to go see it, but they're sort of like, Robert Pattinson Batman. I'm like, come on.
As Lilith will say, she's like, he's done other things besides Twilight.
Yeah. So, and Lilith knows this movie, and I know I've mentioned it before, Tenet, which is that movie is a trip. And I mean, this is our platform now, so we can say whatever the hell we want. That movie was a mindfuck, because the way that time runs in that movie, you're like, where are we? What's going on? I've watched it once. Man, I need to watch it again.
I did the exact same thing when I finished watching it. I was like, I feel like I need to go back and rewatch it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But yeah, Robert Pattinson's good. Zoe Kravitz is good. Colin Farrell plays the Penguin. They have him all made up. You can't even tell it's him. He doesn't have a voice. They have his face all different. Yeah, you can't tell it's him. He does a good job.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is a crowd of people from the lifting community that are going tomorrow, but we're going to take a drive on out to Girdwood, which is a beautiful community, Phil, if you ever get up here. When you make your trip to Alaska.
But okay, here, like I said, it's a good movie, but it's almost 3 hours, so make sure you lock the time. Okay, tell you how good this is. 3 hours.
Don't hyperhydrate before you go, right?
Yes. What did Lil tell somebody the other day? She goes, yeah, do the slushy, not the soda. But no, I mean, it was just so good because I was worried because we went last Saturday. It was my son's 9th birthday.
Oh.
So now I was like, oh man, is he gonna be able to sit through this? I mean, but he paid attention the whole time. He was even leaning over to me, asking me questions about stuff.
Cool. Cool.
So yeah, 9-year-old, it almost 3 hour movie kept his attention. So it's good, kids.
It's getting an 8.5 on IMDb.
Oh yeah.
201,000 reviews. So.
I've seen more positives than negatives about it.
Yeah.
I would have to say that too. I've looked at some of our podcasters' reviews, and they've been generally quite positive. So,
I mean, you get your action, and then you get there's it's kind of like a murder mystery too and stuff. Like the Riddler's doing stuff, and you're like, well, why is he doing this? And
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I forgot they forgot they were putting the Riddler in this one.
Yeah, it's 3 hours, but yeah, you got Catwoman, you got Riddler, you got Penguin, you got some of the mob. Yeah, so
definitely worth watching. I'm gonna definitely look at it.
And if anyone's
go ahead.
seen it, we did a review, so yes, you could check that out on Capes and Lunatic Sidekicks.
I will have to listen to it when I lay down because of my freaking cold. Which is not COVID.
Hey, we're not in the same room with you. You can have the play.
Yeah.
I probably will do a rapid test tonight because I've got some here at home, but it's not COVID.
And even if it is, you're not around people except for Rob. It's like, well, what?
Right. And I got this from him, so it's his fault. He got it from his kid. So. All right. Well, that takes us into goods, bads, and uglies. Phil, as the guest, you want to go first with your good?
Oh, you know what I loved about this? And for, years ago, I never thought I would say, I love this character, but Father Gabe on the roof with the sniper rifle.
Yes.
I cheered. I was like, oh, yes. When he took that shot, I was like, oh.
There was something that I saw in some of the news that I looked at that talked about just the phenomenal transition that this character has made, the journey that this character's had. And I think it's quite honestly one of the most interesting journeys of all of the characters. Nobody's tried to redeem him. He didn't go away mysteriously and come back. He's always been there, and he's just been getting harder and harder and harder.
And, he's one that's on borrowed time for the show because in the comic book, he's dead. So, he's one of those where he can keep surprising you. And I've always been critical of him, like since day one, because of what he did to his flock, the parishioners at his church, and then leaving the gate open at Alexandria. Yes, you did. And just like also like the creepy Children of the Corn look that they give him.
Thank God he's not wearing that hat anymore.
Yes. Any day now I expect him to take off the collar, but yeah, they with the collar and the hat and the eye, it's just like, what did Rosita see in him over what's his name? The father of her baby.
Oh gosh, what was his name? He was the guy who was the traitor.
Sadiq. Yeah, over Sadiq. What did she see in Gabe over Sadiq? Like, and not just looks wise, but like, I don't know. He doesn't seem to have a very good personality, but yeah, this episode was very redeeming for him because that no gents in here, you can call me Gabriel.
And again, zombie apocalypse. I mean, your dating choices are kind of slim pickings too, because it's not like a world here. You could go out into the city and and maybe find potentially thousands of potential partners. Yeah, in zombie apocalypse, you're like, which out of these handful?
Okay, I can see him going with Bachelor number 2 over Eugene.
There is no Tinder in the zombie apocalypse.
No.
But no, I like the whole, Father Gabe thing with the rifle, but also like that thing with, the Reaper's priest. It's like, it's like almost like there, but for the grace of God go I, cause it's like, this guy, I don't know if he was just insane or it's like you could justify anything, in the name of God.
That was absolutely my good, Phil, was the scene between him and the Reaper's priest, just because of the juxtaposition of the two. It was so good.
See, and that was my bad.
Oh, really?
Yes, it was my bad because I didn't think there was enough. I thought it ended too quickly. There was so much potential there, and they had actually kind of built it up. And it was just like they had a little bit of conversation, and then Gabe stuck him with a knife. And I was like, wait, that's it? Like, I feel like the other guy should have gotten away, and like we should have had this like holy man versus holy man thing, and maybe he was the one that met up with Leah and like, healed her wound and nursed her back. And then it was Leah and the holy man, like against our guys. And, there should have been more. I felt like there should have been more with Gabe and him. And it ended too quickly.
See, I loved Gabe taking him out because that really showed you how different this Gabriel is from the Gabriel that we met.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how much story you could squeeze out of that other guy because, he just seemed batshit crazy to me. So I'm just like, how much story could you do with him?
Yeah.
That's what I liked about him.
It's like, unless he's just going around being the town slasher, I just didn't know how much story we could get out of him. Marnell's like, that's enough for me.
Yeah, one of my favorite episode was the one that had Beta as like the like almost Freddy Krueger-esque character,
Like a horror movie.
Yeah.
The thing that wouldn't die, drop him down elevator shafts. You can't kill this guy. Yeah.
I mean, when I called Gabe a Children of the Corn kind of character, it wasn't in total disparagement. Like, I love horror movies, so like if we could have had like, redeemed holy man versus evil holy man, that would have been something I'd have watched.
Oh yeah.
So, Di, what was your good?
It was what I said it was. It was the interaction between Gabe and the holy man from the Reapers, and then Gabe taking him out. Yeah.
My good was something I've kind of already gone through, is just the overall forward movement with the storyline. I was a little bit disappointed in how quickly the Reapers were dispatched, although we also complain if they drag the storylines out. So here we are, I guess. But we are quickly moving on to the Commonwealth. So we got Eugene, Connie and Daryl are back, and that's amazing. I can't wait to see more of those two together. Negan is gone, and I wonder if they will touch on wherever he winds up, or the journey of Negan, or if maybe he is going to come to the rescue for anyone at some point. So I'll be interested to see where that goes.
I'll make a bold prediction. He shows back up eventually. I'll predict
Yeah. I don't think we're going to go like basically 2 halves of the last season and not see Negan again.
Yeah, but how long could they a couple?
I mean, if nothing else, he'll probably show up by the third part is the last of this season. So
yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. So we got the stuff now with looking forward at like, we have to fill in the 6 months between, what happened now and then the very end of the episode. So yeah, like I said, I had originally rated this episode really low, and understanding that this episode moves us so far forward and so much important stuff happened, that was my good.
How long do you think the time jump is? Because I read a month, but it seems like it's way longer than that.
I heard it was 6 months.
Okay.
That
makes more sense to me, because I look at especially how they portray Daryl and kind of how ingrained Daryl is in ingrained is not right. Entrenched Daryl is in his unit. I'm like, I don't think that happened in a month.
Yeah.
All right, Phil, what was your bad?
Well, I've kind of went over mine already. It's like, what the hell is Daryl doing?
Right.
And I think we talked before the episode about, what the hell is Daryl doing and being entrenched with a unit from the Commonwealth. I don't know if, I thought they made it very obvious because I noticed it on the first watch and I looked for it on the rewatch to make sure I had seen what I had seen. But Daryl is the only one in his unit at the end of the episode that is splattered with blood. So it just kind of makes me wonder what the significance of that is. Like, I know that like a lot of the people from the Commonwealth seem to be real squeamish, but it doesn't seem like their military people are. So like, why is he the only one covered in blood?
I mean, just all that, and then the whole Lydia thing, and it's like, why is he always letting her, I know, if you're going to say love, like letting her get away with murder and stuff. I don't know if it's just, is it the main character? Because I mean, Rick's gone, Michonne's gone. He's pretty much the main character now. I mean, Maggie's back, but he was holding that down until she came back. So it's like, I don't know. This series sometimes it seems like the main character sometimes has to make stupid decisions.
Yeah.
For drama's sake, I don't know, but
the thing that I go back to is he's a lone wolf, and to see him entrenched in a unit of soldiers who are very anonymous because they all look the same, act the same. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, stormtroopers. You look like stormtroopers.
Yeah.
You could always say he has some kind of plan, but even like the whole Lydia thing, I mean, I could see him putting her before some of these other people, but Maggie, he's known Maggie how long now?
Right.
Since season 2.
Yeah.
So it was really like, even I know that he had this big love affair with Lydia, and we all oohed and awed over it, or at least some of us did.
Some of us wrote fan fiction, right, Marnell?
But she had like 12 hours previous been like, yeah, no, let's all kill Daryl, So like, how do you go from
that kills the romance? Yes.
Yeah. Like how do you save someone after that? Like, yeah, I don't think she was that good in bed.
You guys are talking about Lydia, and I'm getting freaked out because she's a teenager. What you mean is Leah?
Leah, yes.
Sorry, Leah.
I was like following, and I'm like, what the? Did I miss something?
Man, Diane's the one that's on the cold medicine. Like, and she's the only coherent one.
I know. Diane, you're going to laugh, but me and Marnell were on here. We're waiting for you to get your stuff together. And we're just like, man, we're getting old.
Yeah. Yep. I got the snap, crackle, pop knees going.
Hey, tell me you're old without telling me you're old. Oh my God. Sometimes I would look at the young whippersnappers that I'm lifting with and I'm like, just get out of my face.
Oh yeah, Diane's so old and out of shape. She's only lifting 300 some pounds.
I'm not there yet.
No, but
I see the videos. You're not lifting no feathers either.
You could deadlift Phil.
Given the right bar, it's possible.
Oh,
that's funny.
So
and
yeah,
Phil.
Leah.
Yeah. Ew. Let's all erase the mental image of Daryl and Lydia. Can we please erase?
We have to know that that's going to be something that's going to come back and bite him in the ass is, now we have a which is exactly why Maggie went on a shooting spree. She wanted to kill all of them because, that's Negan regretted not killing all of our crew because it came back to bite him in the ass. And so, now Leah's out there stalking us.
I mean, the whole Maggie thing, she went back on her word, and killed those people. But I kind of get that, because at first when they're getting away, I'm like, man, they're going to let them get away. And then Maggie starts opening fire. I'm like, okay, that's shocking, but I kind of get it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Team Maggie on that one.
How many times in how many of these seasons have they let somebody go and it's come back to bite them in the ass?
Right.
Especially these people, like you said, a couple hours ago, hey, let's kill Daryl.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that you can do is bring them into the fold, keep them captive for a while until they have enough Stockholm syndrome to side with you. And so then they don't beat your brains out when you're burying your friend, at the end of the episode, like Negan and Maggie, so we have Negan, who we kind of brought into the fold, who was a bad guy. And then, Lydia, actual Lydia, the Whisperer's daughter, we brought her into the teenager. We brought her into the fold, and she was all feral when we got her. So instead of letting Lydia go, he should have been like, okay, maybe I can convince Baggy not to kill you if you promise not to kill us. Brought her into the fold. Garden. Yeah. Can you raise tomatoes? But now she's wounded and she's got hurt feelings and all of her friends are dead and it's just going to be a bad scene. So.
Oh yeah, because even if they come at her with a truce now, she's going to be like, well, Maggie said, she was going to let us go and she didn't.
Right. Exactly. So we already went over my bad. I was disappointed at, the early dispatching of Evil Holy Man. So Di, what was your bad?
Well, I've had this complaint about this season several times, so bear with me, but it felt really chaotic because they're doing too many storylines in one episode. They really need to just tell a story. Everything feels like it's a setup.
Yeah.
It feels like it's the setup pushing us toward the end, which I understand, but I would like some story. And I would like a story that actually has some completion.
We're podcasting this late, so we will soon be able to find out if they do more bottle episodes of one storyline. It seems to me like the next episode, maybe that looks like it's going to be in the Commonwealth and it's around Halloween time. So it doesn't look like there's too much going on there. Not too much chaos, but hopefully, I think the rest of this season or the rest of season 11B, will just kind of be Commonwealth centric, all leading up to the.
Smalls doesn't like the Commonwealth. He doesn't like what you're saying.
I was gonna say I've watched ahead. I'm current. So do you want a non-spoilery?
Yeah,
sure.
All right. Every episode so far after this is in Commonwealth. So
okay.
So maybe it'll be a little easier for Di to track.
That's why my dogs are crying because they want to be in Alexandria.
They don't like bottle episodes.
All right, Phil, what was your ugly?
Okay, I'm going to go back to that rope in the basement because I was just thinking about it. It gets worse because wasn't it Aaron who was coming in on there?
Yeah.
Was it Aaron who set that up? No.
Yep.
Hey, he lifts, bro.
I know, but I mean, just setting up the rope with one hand and that mace on the or whatever on the other hand. It's like, okay,
good.
While holding on to a collapsing Blackwater pipe with zombies chomping at your back.
And I don't know if it's like a deleted scene or whatever, but they didn't even show you how they got that rope up.
No, and I think it was Eric Kane said something in his review. Somebody said something in their review that was just like, it was one of those like cutaway, like our gang is in peril, and then like somebody comes to the rescue, but we're not quite sure how. Yeah, and we cut away and everything's fine. Grindhouse actually did a really, really good, the movie Grindhouse, Planet Terror did a really good kind of spoof on that where like they had all, like it was kind of a love scene and then it like went into a missing reel, like when you used to have old reel-to-reels and like they would lose one. And so you'd be in the middle of a love scene and then it'd be missing reel. And then it'd be like, the house is on fire and everyone's running and screaming. Like, what happened in between there? So, yeah, that was our missing reel moment in The Walking Dead.
Oh, that's funny. Well, Martin, what about you?
So mine was a bad ugly. It was the way that the Alden scene was handled. There was a couple of things going on. It had to be explained that apparently there was a Reaper there. Like that was that other zombie.
And that the Reaper like messed him up and that was why he was crawling. And I read that in an article. I did not realize that was what was going on with the zombie.
Yeah. And then Maggie like let him get so close. She was like cupping his like chin or something and he's like biting at her and like he's crawling towards and like they're I mean, I was just like, you're dumb. You're going to get bitten. Like I was so annoyed in how they did that scene
we've seen a few moments like that. And the moment that I think of is when not Lori. That's her real name. Andrea. Andrea and Amy.
Yeah.
And Andrea is like, like cradling her sister and the same kind of thing. But she didn't really hesitate when it finally came to the point of needing to put her down. But and that was also really early on in the apocalypse before we knew what we know now. So I think that's legit. Maggie is well versed at this point in what a zombie can do.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I was super annoyed at that scene, but like I said, I have it going on in the background behind my screens right now. And the scene kind of ended with Maggie sobbing. And just Lauren Cohan is such a good actress. Like I kind of had a breakdown earlier this week over some like really high stress situations at work and some other stuff that's going on. And like I was like sobbing uncontrollably and I could see Maggie like on the screen sobbing uncontrollably. And I'm like, she's a really good actress because that's a legitimate sob. So, for as much as I dislike the scene, all props to Lauren Cohan for her acting. So.
Wait, can I bring up a weird plot point?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. It's been a while. So when did Marnell learn human emotions and crying?
It was completely narcissistic. I was crying about myself.
Okay. That makes sense for the plot. Okay.
Yes. I felt very attacked about something at work, and so it was all me. I'm losing my damn view. They're putting me on the other side of the building, which is the alley side of the building. So that's not what I was sobbing about, but that really didn't help my week. Oh, so Di, what was your ugly?
My ugly was a good ugly. It was pretty small, but it was seeing the reunion between Daryl and Connie.
Yay!
It was really nice. I don't know where we're headed with that. I looked at an article about the spinoffs, like I said, and it was like, what's going to happen with Connie, because it's obviously only going to be Daryl and Carol, and,
Well, hopefully now it's at least going to be like, Leah who?
I mean, yeah, I wonder if it's probably going to be some of these characters might die. Some of them might stay at Commonwealth, or,
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that was a nice reunion. Oh, you're done filming Eternals. Oh, nice.
Welcome back. I saw that today at the grocery store. I headed out for some Dayquil and some Mucinex. Ooh, exciting life. And I saw people are still buying Blu-rays apparently. And I saw a Blu-ray for that and for the new Matrix movie. But I was like, I can stream both of these. Just stop.
I was going to say, like, yeah, I think I watched the new Matrix movie on like HBO Plus. HBO Max. Yeah. I liked it.
Oh yeah, they dropped that first day on HBO Max. I don't think it was around Christmas.
Yeah.
Well,
all right.
Anything for rotting potpourri?
So in Eric Kane's review, I guess he caught some hell last season 11A about coming down on Gracie so hard about kind of being a dumb kid. And I guess he got a lot of flack for that. And so when he was mentioning her in his review this time, which I had completely agreed with, he was like, I'm not saying that like the actress is dumb, and I'm not saying that Gracie should be dumb. I'm saying they are writing her as someone who I don't think she would be. I don't think she would be a dumb kid. Yeah, she's more sheltered than Judith, but she's still a child of the apocalypse. So, she shouldn't be acting the way she is, where she's 11, 12 years old, and she shouldn't be standing next to windows, when there's walkers about. She shouldn't be running away from the adults or, locking herself in a basement in a flood, or, they're making Gracie make stupid decisions, and he didn't like it. And I didn't either. I thought that Gracie and Judith, like, they put them in a really dumb situation, where, like, they were trying to make Judith, like, smart by blocking the door and things like that, but then just, like, kind of getting up in the middle of the room on that desk when they really should have just been pushing it over to the window to get out. Yeah. I was a bit annoyed at that.
You would think that hanging out with Judith and having Aaron as her dad, she would be a little more savvy.
I think Aaron, like,
tries to protect her.
Protects her more than Judith is protected.
And two, I mean, she is a child, so the fear could have just taken over, yes, it is the middle of the zombie apocalypse, but, she could still be, have this fear, she's not thinking rationally because she is afraid, but.
Yeah, she has a child's brain.
And any of these kids compared to Judith, the zombie killing machine is, are going to pale in comparison.
Who is even parenting Judith at this point? Is there anyone who is actively parenting Judith?
I don't think so. No. I mean, I think when your kid has like a kill count of humans, like, you can't parent them anymore. Like,
I was about to say something, but it's from an upcoming episode. So no, she's staying with someone at the Commonwealth, and yeah.
Oh, I would imagine so. That, like, she's not like cooking her own breakfast or anything.
Oh no, she's with one of our adults. Yeah, it just some people were surprised who she was. Her like main parents seemed to be who she was staying with.
Interesting.
So not having seen anything, I would have guessed it would have been Aaron, that she was staying with Aaron and Gracie. No,
Nope. I mean, I can spoil it, but I don't know if he's one of these spoiled or not.
I'm going to ask you not to spoil that one because we have to do something.
No.
We have to talk about something on the next podcast.
Yeah.
Well, we will think of you, Phil, when we see it.
I think you'll see it by the next episode. So
we're just going to make you come back and podcast with us because somebody's got to kick us in the butt.
All right.
I mean, if the timing's right, yeah, I'll come back.
Phil's going to keep us on schedule.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, if I can do it for Will, if I can do it for you guys. Nah.
Okay, well, I liked the effect of the zombies getting blown apart by the Hwacha, and I was glad that they brought that weapon back and kind of finished up with that because it was interesting. I mean, I actually looked it up when we first were introduced to it to see if it was a real thing, So that was my exploding zombies thing. That was your exploding zombies thing, Marn.
Yep.
But that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think they had a quick thing on it on that week's Talking Dead. I think when they do the little notes at the one in the one segment. Yeah.
Yeah, it's from.
Oh, go ahead.
It's like from ancient China or something, isn't it? It was something invented.
Yeah, I think that's. Yeah. But no, I remember, how you were saying, they were having technical difficulties because they were doing it from home. This last week, they were all back in the studio, but they didn't have like an audience. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
At least someone's taking the pandemic seriously.
Yeah.
No one else is.
They did the thing where there's like the two guests there with Chris Hardwick and then the ones on this screen. Yeah. And no audience.
Wow. Huh.
So you guys, I think Elijah was so grievously wounded. I'm not quite sure. This is another one of those, is that really a wound that you walk away with?
I mean, we keep going back to Daryl getting stabbed in a femoral artery.
Right?
Yeah. I kind of think so, if nothing, but like, we have to have somebody replace Alden. Like, we can't have like less than 30 cast members.
Steve.
And Maggie has lost everyone that connected her back to, her missing days, her missing years. So I don't know, maybe to fill in some of the stuff there, Elijah and Maggie will have some conversations, or I don't know, maybe Elijah will die and we'll never know what life was like for Maggie in those lost years. But yeah, I would imagine he would be grievously wounded, but not in our world.
You know what? During that Negan Maggie series, maybe we're going to get flashbacks to Maggie's time away. And it's like, oh, hey, how did you learn how to do, set this trap? Well, when I was away, this week, there's this flashback.
So that brings up something. So the Maggie Negan series, where is baby Herschel going?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
What, like, does he not have plot armor now? Like, or does he get left with Judith, or does he go with them?
Would they kill a child? Well, again, and two, it's like, I know it's his mother, but would Herschel want to go with the man who killed his father?
Do you think Herschel knows? Has she told Herschel?
I don't think so. I don't. I think Herschel probably knows that a man killed her father, but I don't think she pointed Negan out or anything or said his name.
I wonder if he figures it out or he hears someone talking about it. That's how he's going to find out. So it's
maybe.
Not only is my mother working with the man who killed my father, but she didn't even tell me this is the man who killed my father.
Okay, here, remember my bold prediction when I'm like, the only way that this can end is Negan has to sacrifice himself to save baby Herschel. Baby Herschel gets kidnapped or lost or something. CRM takes him, whatever. And Maggie and Negan have to go to Manhattan to find Herschel.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun.
I hope they don't do that. That sounds really contrived.
Yes, but I mean, like Marnell says, is that the way he redeems himself, at least in Maggie's eyes?
Yep.
He saves Glenn's son.
Yep. It's Negan's redemption story. And, I mean, what's going to happen to Herschel? So.
No, that's an excellent question.
Yeah, which I didn't even think of until now. Ugh. So I don't have much else. The only other thing that I have written down is about the evil holy man. If anyone tells you they talk to anybody else but God, they're crazy. Right? If you tell people you hear voices, you're crazy. But if it's God, you're a holy man.
Well, that's the thing. It's if you don't have a lot of money, you're crazy. But if you're rich, you're eccentric.
Exactly. If 50 Shades of Grey, if he wasn't a billionaire, he'd be an episode of Criminal Minds.
SVU.
Yeah, no kidding.
You got anything else, Di?
Yeah, so I just caught her out of the corner of my eye, but I was like, oh my god, is Dianne pregnant?
That would be cool, except they haven't shipped her with anybody, have they?
Well, that doesn't... it can happen. You don't have to have a relationship.
Could be some rando we've never seen before.
But she's like one of my favorite tertiary characters.
Yeah, I know. I
would have liked to have seen... I would have liked to have seen her, like, you know, even if it's just out of the corner of your eye, like her kissing someone goodbye before she, you know, goes off to hunt or battle or rescue or whatever.
Yeah, I had that written down. The stuff that we've already talked about, the whole, like, stuck in the flooded basement thing, Lydia saving Aaron, kind of ridiculous.
I mean, just the whole thing with, like, the whole Maggie thing killing them at the end. Doesn't this seem like this should have been, like, the last episode before the break?
Yes.
Like, this should have been the last episode of the first part.
Yeah, I feel like they broke up the season wrong.
Yeah. Because if you would have ended part 1 on that, it would have been like, oh my god, if Maggie's doing that, what the hell was the rest of this season going to be, you know?
Yeah.
And ending part 1 on the whole mystery of the Commonwealth and the getting sucked into the Commonwealth, that would have been a good place to stop.
Yeah, because the next episode kind of opens up in the Commonwealth, so I think it might have...
It would have been a better break, yeah. Definitely. I agree.
Well, I don't think I have anything else.
I don't either.
Except now Marnell and I have to learn to use StreamYard on our own.
Right.
But it's not hard. Like I said, just create an account and, yeah. I mean, if you're not sending this anywhere, you can just do whatever and create. It's called a broadcast. You just create it, and then when you're ready, just hit record, and when you're done, hit stop, man.
Yeah, every once in a while I lurk in your live streams, Phil.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I'll see it on Facebook and it'll come up. And you apparently don't read the comments. I don't know if they maybe don't come up for, or maybe. Okay, because I've said hi to you a few times.
Okay, it's weird because sometimes when you're in here, like the comment will pop up and it won't tell you who said it, so it's kind of weird.
That's funny. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna say, a housewife say hi.
Okay, very good. Oh, I feel honored. I'm like the only person on the internet that Marnell's watching with their clothes on. Hey, who
said I had my clothes on?
Oh no, I meant the stuff you watch. No.
Oh, okay. Okay, no, yeah, that's
true. His clothes on.
No, we know you. Well, oh no, we know.
Stand up, prove it.
Well, I got a shirt on. Come on.
You're Winnie the Poohing it though.
Really inordinate amount of time naked.
Phil didn't get a chance to use his soundboard so much this episode. Now we have to have him back.
Don't be so difficult.
All right. Phil, where can the people find you?
Well, you can always hear me on the Capes and Lunatics and Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks podcast, where we talk all things Marvel and DC Comics. We love feedback. You can always email us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com, or our voicemail, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. Everything we do has their own social media. We have our own YouTube channel. We have a Patreon where you can get a lot of extra stuff, and we have merchandise like t-shirts, cups, and stuff. But yeah, basically everything is at Linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics.
Excellent. Well, thank you for hosting us. Otherwise, this would have never gotten off the ground.
Yes.
Well, you can thank me by keeping going.
No pressure.
We may have to have you back to keep us going.
Yeah.
I just love how friends of mine at work never ask me about my podcast, but they're like, "Hey, when are Dianne and Marnell doing another show?"
Hi, Phil's friends at work.
That's right, Jack. I'm talking about you. That's
sorry. Incommunicado. I'm chasing a Viking, and Marnell works too much. So
yeah. Yeah. All right, everybody. Hopefully this is one of many catch-up episodes we have coming. But until then, just remember, take it one dead day at a time. We are worse over StreamYard than Skype. I didn't think it was possible. And we can see each other doing this, so no excuse.
We'll work it out.
Have a good week, everybody.
Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.